Marvel Rivals Season 1 has started. And while most of the known universe is having a blast with gameplay videos galore, you, my friend, have found yourself in the one-stop shop for Marvel Rivals lore! In today's video, we're going to go over how all these goddamn vampires came from out of nowhere, and also what heroes are even left to stop them at this point. My name is the Riddler, wrong universe, I know, and this is Marvel Rivals Season 1 of Marvel Rivals: Eternal Darkness. We start in the Divine Plane, where Khonshu is talking to Mark Spector, the Moon Knight. Having pulled him in rather abruptly, Khonshu asks what Mark knows of vampires. Outside of Dracula owing him money, Mark doesn't seem to know much. Khonshu is the protector of travelers in the night through his fists of Khonshu, of course, and vampires are essentially Khonshu's natural enemy, considering they can only function while his moon hangs in the sky due to their curse. Their conversation is interjected, however, by the king and defender of Latveria, Victor Von Doom. Khonshu and Moon Knight immediately jump onto the defense, understandably, but he has come to impart a warning. Dracula seeks to end daylight itself, and Khonshu calls off Moon Knight, allowing Doom to speak. Doom begins his tale, one that regales the origins of vampires, a race of humanoids born from an ancient curse inscribed within the Darkhold, written in the blood of the first of their kind, a vampire named Varney. Those vampiric verses, as they're called, also granted them immortal life. As we've talked about before, Doom also believes that this immortal life is the key to unlocking the nature of time itself. Doom, never being able to take responsibility for literally anything he has ever done, blames the Sorcerer Supreme for hiding the Darkhold from him. And then we get to exactly what Doom wants from Khonshu. He wants the moon god to hold the moon in place, shrouding a single city in eternal night to give Doom the chance to unlock the secrets of the vampires. Mark scoffs at this, thinking Doom must have lost his mind. Doom, being Doom, is once again like, nah, this is a great plan. And Khonshu is very against this plan, as it would endanger countless travelers of the night. Doom is incensed by this refusal, but despite all his power and rage, Victor is not a god, and Khonshu easily banishes him from his plane of existence. Doom, however, shouts that Doom will have what he wishes, very defiantly. Khonshu then comes to an abrupt decision. He decides that he needs the Darkhold, actually. The same book that made the vampires may contain a fix for Dracula's plan. Within the Book of Sins, there is a spell called the Montesi Formula that could take their gift away permanently. Moon Knight argues that this type of thing should be Blade's job, and Khonshu doesn't disagree, but Blade isn't the damn fist of Khonshu. We then switch our perspective to Tyrone Johnson and Tandy Bowen. Vampires have begun to pour out of New York, Manhattan specifically, and the duo supers are doing their best to protect people. Cloak is currently the one on the material plane, and as he drags 3 vampires into the pitch-black void that is the Dark Force dimension, Dagger reminds Cloak that vampires like the dark, much to his annoyance. Cloak and Dagger assume that whatever spell has hung the moon permanently in the sky seems to have banished Dagger's physical form to the Dark Force dimension. After consulting with Reed Richards, however, they realize it was actually the time stream entanglement that they saw. Reed surmises that since Cloak and Dagger tried to portal between dimensions as a defensive measure when it happened, they had somehow gotten entangled with each other on a molecular level. Reed ran many tests, but nothing is fruitful as of yet, so they just had to do the best they could. Originally, Cloak was more aggressive and actively trying to take down the people under Dracula's sway, while Tandy wanted to heal them, but as time went on, it seems the roles ended up reversed. This reversal makes Cloak worried about his usually stalwart, light-focused friend, but he suppresses these worries. The duo is called up by Mr. Fantastic, who explains that a test run of his time reintegration device may not only help their experiments, but it might also fix Cloak and Dagger's predicament. And it does. Kinda. While they both are physically around now, their energy signatures still seem deeply intertwined. Reed warns them that teleporting around using Cloak's powers will increase the chance that they are refused. Cloak is deeply disheartened, since that's kind of his whole thing, but Dagger is just ecstatic to have a body again. It appears, however, that she is not emotionally repaired from whatever has been leading her down a darker path. Eventually, in one of the many situations with vampires going on, Cloak is forced to teleport them away, refusing the two. But Cloak and Dagger are not the only ones who are fighting off these vampires. We switch perspectives to Spider Man, who is also defending the people of Manhattan from vampires, as we've mentioned in other videos. Spider Zero reaches out to Peter around this time, who declines given how fucking destroyed New York is right now. After his refusal, Johnny Storm comes to find him and tell him the good news. Squirrel Girl's team has finally found Blade. Peter breathes a sigh of relief as his expertise would be very useful in this vampire-focused situation. Blade explains that he was busy trying to figure out how the hell Dracula even pulled this all off. He says he has a lead, but it's hard to believe. After they take turns beating down a few vampires, Spider-Man's spider sense hits overdrive as the trio are beset by Dracula himself. After a bit of combat, Dracula gets the better of Peter, though before he can bite him, Blade jumps in between to protect him. The King of Vampires turns into a giant bat and knocks both Peter and Johnny Storm out before dragging Blade, the only vampire able to walk in the daylight, deep within his castle to try and find a cure for the rest of the vampire's moon-binding curse. And that's everything we know about how all this vampire business started, and it also lets you know what our goal is in Season 1. In the Manhattan maps, when we are driving around with Herbie in the Fantastic Four, we are trying to scan the pages of the Darkhold to find the Montesi formula, because Khonshu believes that this will help them. Doctor Strange also probably isn't happy that the pages of the book he tried very hard to hide are now just fluttering around New York. That's super not good. And our second goal, one that we haven't gotten to in game yet, is we are trying to save Blade from Dracula, likely so we can play him in Season 2. Thank you all so much for listening and joining me for another wonderful video. If you liked the video, drop a like, and if you want to be up to date on all Marvel Rivals lore content, go ahead and give us a subscribe here at the Question Circle. We appreciate you so much. Thank you all so much for the support on Season 0, and I'm so excited to start making Season 1 videos. Until the next time I see you all, drink some water, wash your hands, tell someone you love that you love them, and be good people.